timber that's born. Our love gives me warmth and shelter. Sounds like music and it smells so sweet. Grace and beauty are the constant beat. Horses around me and I feel like I'm home. 'Cause I'm wild about barns. 'Cause I'm wild about barns. 'Cause I'm wild about barns. Wild about barns.
On our first segment, historic barns finding new life. Brothers Jake and Luke Herring, two very talented craftsmen, are saving barns and using their 100-year-old wood to retrofit furniture, homes, and businesses all across Tennessee. Each episode of our show features an historic American barn that has been lovingly preserved by a family or a community. Many are repurposed into museums, wedding venues, and dance halls. But not every old barn can be saved. And when a barn has to come down, the Herring boys know what to do with it. They deconstruct old barns by hand and repurpose the wood as part of a unique business they call the Tennessee Barn Project.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of nail pulling.
Historic barns are one of the best and only sources for rare old-growth wood, the majestic trees that grew in the American heartland hundreds of years ago. Most of these trees are long gone, but their beauty and character live on in the walls, beams, and floorboards of barns across the countryside.
People are realizing that the old growth hardwoods have a lot of value.
What definitely turned the light on is we took a piece of board from a barn, and it's weathered. It just looks like a normal piece of barn wood. And then we just noticed how heavy it was and how dense it was, and we had a hand planer that we used on construction. We used that to plane that board, and we were like, we just noticed the wood is beautiful.
You sort of revealed the beauty beneath.
Then immediately we said, this is awesome, this would be fun to do.
We need to get this lumber.
Luke and Jake already owned a home construction business, so the barn project was a natural outgrowth.
We would do our other work for natural design, home remodeling, decks and gazebos and any trim carpentry, anything, and then we would take the money from that. We wouldn't pay ourselves pretty much, hardly anything, to just to get us by groceries or something, and then we would put our money towards planer, so we could plane the first few boards. And then after that, we were like, okay, well,
Table saw.
The table saw, and then
planer,
then the joiner, and then we said, okay, how do you put these boards together to make a table?
They're like,
Let's try a
biscuit
table.
joiner.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years, and these guys have learned a thing or two about building a table. Beautiful. This is exquisite. Tell us a little bit about this table.
This table is a 10-seater, 10-foot harvest table. The owner just asked for a table to seat 10 and said, do whatever you want with it. So we came up with a simple design, steel base, slab top. It's 4 pieces of white oak.
This is either going to be siding or
hayloft planks.
hayloft planks.
You can tell by where the horse is nibbled right here that was a piece from down low.
Distinctive marks from aging, weathering, and even wear and tear give each piece of antique barnwood its own unique character.
A lot of times we'll leave the edges rough. Between the two of us, we say, what kind of character do you want? And what we mean by that is how rough you're gonna see saw marks or some. This is a very clean
This is a
character.
Clean character for us. And we planed it and put a lot of time sanding it down to get it.
A lot of sanding.
Tennessee restaurateur Jason McConnell finds the Herring Brothers' vintage creations pair well with the warmth and flair of his sophisticated Southern cuisine.
I grew up in the country, so I spent a lot of time in a hay barn and horse barns and with the cattle, and so really barns just make me feel at ease and at home. So if I can bring that into the workplace, then hey, why not do it? So what we were able to do with those guys was let them come in and bring in some elements of the barns that they've taken down and add a lot of character to the space.
So this is a post from a barn. You can see the hand-hewn marks and the notches where the beams came into it. You can see the circle saw marks from the mill. It's been painted, obviously red at one time, then black at one time. There's a lot of character in the old growth oak, like these big knots and stuff. That's very indicative of barnwood that we get.
I love all these little notches. It just makes you wonder, like, why these were here. Does it mean anything?
Yeah, we love to think about the history of it and to picture the craftsmen that put it together the first time.
For McConnell's second restaurant, he gave the Herring brothers free rein.
The concept for this restaurant was that it's going to be a really down-home feel. Jason thought that it'd be a good idea to bring in the character of the barn. That's from a roof of a barn, and the wainscot is, and the chair rail is white oak from rafters.
So it sounds like you pretty much take every part of the barn that you can and use it somehow.
Everything is salvageable.
Everything that's salvageable. We're even saving all the nails we've been pulling.
That's awesome. This is the most incredibly unique light fixture I think I've ever seen. How did you come to design this?
It all started with, I wanted a throwback sign, and instead of just hanging it on the wall like you would typically expect, I said, hey, let's incorporate that into something. And he said, oh, I've got this great idea for a light.
And then Jake just kind of came up with that one. That was a pretty crazy one.
It was a heavy one, too.
It looks it.
It took six guys and a scaffold to get that up.
It's one of the first things people say, where'd that come from, or who did this? And I love to give those guys credit for some creativity. It's a one-of-a-kind piece.
One of a kind is the Herring brothers' specialty. Whether it's a rockin' bar and grill or a peaceful getaway like this custom-built cabin in the woods.
We did everything here from the ground up, the furniture to the cabinets, the window casings, the beams, desks, doors.
Everything.
If you're looking at it, we did it.
I gotta say, this whole room has such a great workflow, but this to me is the centerpiece right here.
Thank you. Yeah, this is white oak from a barn that we took down about 4 years ago in Lawrenceburg. It's got a natural wax finish on it.
And is this one solid piece of wood?
This is actually 4 pieces of 1x12s.
You can't even tell.
They're seamed here and here and here, but blends pretty well.
Can I have this in my kitchen? Pretty please? This is awesome. The Tennessee Barn Project is more than a business and more than a craft. It's a loving tribute to the history of the heartland, and every piece carries the story of its unique provenance.
Under the piece, we put a plaque that has a picture of the barn, GPS coordinates of the barn, our website, and the barn, or the species of the lumber. With the idea in mind that when we were kids, we always were looking under furniture and seeing how it was put together and stuff like that.
I just think that's so cool, because someone could have a chair in South Dakota, and in 50 years from now, theoretically, they could look online and find out it was a barn in, like, Oklahoma, where that chair came from.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's really exciting for us.
Help save America's barns. Check out the Tennessee Barn Project.
I feel like I'm home 'cause I'm wild about barns. 'Cause I'm wild about barns. 'Cause I'm wild about barns.
Stay tuned for more Wild About Barns.